The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are The Bostonian versus The Book.
You covered! You covered 12! Covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus The Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
Happy Roll Call Friday, guys. What's up? Welcome into another episode of the Bostonian versus the Book. He's Dave Sharapan. I am Matt Perrault, and we are live on our YouTube channel where we will eat crow, or at least I will, a little bit, for what happened last night. You guys can follow us on Twitter X at Boston versus the Book. The show is played there as well, or on replay. We love you guys in the replay crew, Sports Grid Television or Sirius XM channel 159. Well, Dave, it didn't go the way we wanted it to. Got to give it up to Canada. 3-2 in overtime. How in the hell did Connor McDavid get that open?
Went perfectly for me. Under everything. It was great. I kept that early goal and then went over under 6.5. It was perfect. Listen, we said it was a coin flip game. It was a coin flip game. And went to overtime. If you bet the overtime, congratulations. That's awesome. It was like 3-1, 350 you could have gotten in the game going to overtime. Not a bad bet. Listen, man, hockey won yesterday.
Yeah.
Hockey won. Books are reporting that they did handle that was an NFL game handle. That doesn't happen very often.
For hockey.
Never happens for hockey. I mean, it's hard to get an isolated game like that with the stakes that it was. It was great. Listen, man, if you like sports, you like the game. There was a lot of things that happened, leading up to it. I mean, people giving pep talks and saying this about that and all this other stuff for 3 hours plus last night was all about the hockey. Agreed.
Kasey Hudson and Nesson will stop on by here in about 30 minutes to get her take on TD Garden hosting the event, the win for Canada. Where does Team USA go from here? And we'll take a look at the Bruins as well a little bit because the Charlie McAvoy injury is really significant. Looks like he might be done for the year for the Bruins, given what happened with the shoulder. He was in the locker room last night giving a pep talk to his teammates. He broke down. He got emotional because he couldn't play, and also just because he probably realized this is my home locker room, and I'm not going to be able to play here because I'm going to be out for a while dealing with this shoulder injury. So really not a good situation. But before we get fully into the game, let's just remind you guys that we have 2 live shows coming at you in the next month. We will be live in Franklin, Kentucky on the 12th of March.
Who put me on that bike?
Me. So
I've never been on a bike, but I'll ride it. Let's go. We're going to Kentucky, baby.
We're road tripping to Kentucky thanks to Circa Sports Kentucky. We will be there live. We will have the actual time soon as to what time we will be broadcasting live from the Mint in Kentucky, in Franklin, Kentucky, from the Circa Sports Kentucky location there in Franklin. It's called the Mint. When you look it up, we'll be there coming up for March the 12th here in less than a month. And then the following week, we will be in Vegas, but we will be out of our home studios to Resorts World for Thursday and Friday for the beginning of the NCAA tournament, day 1 and day 2, 16 games on Thursday, 16 games on Friday. And we hope to see you guys in town with us for Thursday and Friday. We'll watch the games with you guys. We'll hang out. We'll have special giveaways. A lot more to come on that, but mark that down. You got 2 shows coming up, or 2 trips coming up in March if you want to take it. One to Kentucky and the others to Vegas for March 20th and 21st for the NCAA tournament. If you like college basketball, BVB's got you covered, Dave.
No question. We got, hockey covered. We got NBA covered. We got college basketball at the SEC tournament. SEC, it just means more. They are the best conference. We've acknowledged it multiple times. The games this weekend coming up, we're going to have some big games all over the, country. But again, that week, SEC tournament starts on Wednesday. We will be live at the Mint in Franklin, Kentucky. It's about 30 minutes outside of Nashville, apparently right across the border. We got a little history lesson this week.
Francisco coming back.
Francisco, count me in at Resorts World. Can't wait to hear the time so I can book the flight. That's what we do.
I'm going to say that Thursday,
Midday.
most likely, it's going to be a midday show because the games begin at 9 a.m. So my gut tells me they're probably going to want us on the air somewhere around like 2 Pacific time, 1 or 2
lunchtime
Pacific?
show, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Right.
So I would say go ahead and do that. I got people coming to Kentucky. All right. We got a little Irish.
ND9, go Irish. Hell yeah, I'll be there. Thanks for coming to Kentucky. Well, thank you for coming out, and thank you for being here, hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button. Francisco just put a nice note in the in the comments above his one that he said he's coming to Vegas. Roll Call Friday. That's why you have to turn on notifications. Otherwise, I would have missed the morning show.
True.
Francisco's out west. It's an early morning show for the West Coast guys. If you usually watch us on your lunch hour out west.
Also, why you should be in our Discord, though, because I posted this morning telling everybody that the show was going to air at 11 a.m. Eastern time, 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific. So I was wrong on the start time. I got confused. That was on me. It was 11:30. I told Dave 11:30, and I got my wires crossed. That was on me for posting that. But you would have been here, so you would have been in the chat and having conversations and just waiting for us to show up, which is
popping already this morning. This chat on this show is unbelievable. I mean, it is Friday. I see Joseph Myers in there. I see Chef Benny in there. Jimmy Football's always in there. JPC the fourth. This thing's flowing. You guys been talking. I apologize. I had to drop little Consig off at school. It's picture day today. A lot of things happening with picture day. 5th grade. Got to get the hair right, the shirt right. A lot of things. And she was mad I was wearing the Yankee stuff. You mad I'm wearing the Yankee stuff?
She's smart.
There's big news today about the Yankees.
Yeah. Big news. We'll get to it later in the show. We got big news with the Yankees coming up later in the show. Yeah. I mean, interesting. I don't know if you saw last night. My daughter and your daughter were having a big conversation last night because they want to have a big party at my house Saturday night. So there's a whole big thing going on as to like what's going on. Yeah, that's what I said.
I know nothing.
Yeah, Madeline was texting me saying, "What's Kendall doing on Saturday?" I was like, "I don't know." She's like, "I'm texting her right now." I go, "Go ahead, text Kendall right now." She's like, "She's going to come over Saturday night." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I don't care. Have him come on over." She's like, "Okay." She's like, she's like, "What's Mr. Dave doing?" I was like, "I don't know what Mr. Dave's doing. Hey, I've been away for a week. The kid gets to do whatever the kid wants to do. So, she can do whatever she wants."
Your weekend is going to be chaos.
It always is.
Oh,
so
my.
Nothing out of the ordinary. Weekends always are. I mean, I'm not going to get home tonight till like 11:30. The plane lands at like 8:45, 9 o'clock. Yeah. So by the time I get my bag and I get to my house, it's going to be 10:30, 11. Then I got to tape the juice. And then I got to get up and go get Maddie. So it's already going to be chaos. Nothing out of the ordinary there.
Where are the dogs?
They're at the house. One of our neighbors is looking after them. So I build them like this gigantic. I bought it off Amazon.
Did it last time? The thing you did last time?
Yeah, okay. It's like a big circle thing where they're little, so they don't need much space, but they have like a 10 by 10 area just to run around and do whatever they want to do in the house. And our neighbor comes over 3 times a day to let them out and go outside and get water and food and whatnot. So they're taken care of. Dogs are good, but it's pay
the neighbor to let them dogs out and just see where they go.
Let them go.
just by I don't know what happened. Yeah, don't worry.
In the month of March, because like in March and April, because of how much traveling I'm going to be doing, I was like, I really shouldn't have dogs. Like I shouldn't have animals. Like we're going to be gone so much. We're going to be so busy in March.
I'm literally leaving on Wednesday to go to Florida.
You're not back for 10 days, right?
I'm not. I'm going to Nashville from there.
Oh,
that was decided for me. Because it's such a long trip to come back and then go to Nashville. I was going to do that. And she's like, "No, you're not doing that. You'll stay there. You'll see every game the kids play.
Oh, I love that
right
idea.
Up to Nashville." So I'm going to go to Nashville directly from Florida. So I will be in Florida. I have to pack for
2 weeks.
I will be out of Vegas from Wednesday for
the 26th.
2 weeks till we come back from the Nashville
on
show.
on the 13th or 14th of March.
14th. I bought the ticket for Friday. She made me, I said I'm going because I don't know what we're doing yet Thursday.
Right.
And I bought a late flight Friday so I could maybe go to the games Friday because the way the bracket looks in that SEC tournament, holy crap, it's going to be great.
Yeah, so that's going to be a fun event. So we
Yeah.
got to get a hold of our guy AB and see what he's up to too. So on the 13th. So my gosh, you're going to be okay. You're going to be on location. This is going to be an interesting run to
Yeah.
see where you're going to be like.
Well,
me.
I mean, next week we might. I'll be traveling Wednesday the whole day, so I'm out Thursday,
Yeah.
Friday. Maybe just take 2 days off, depending on what you want to do, and
Works
then
for me.
we'll get settled for the following week.
That's fine.
In Florida, pop in, do whatever. We'll make sure Will knows. Will, thank you for making sure the show's staying on the rails. We've been on Sports Grid on the replay every night, which is good. If you guys are watching us on there, thank you.
We were prepared for all this,
Yeah.
though. I mean, this is nothing for you guys who might be like, what the? Don't worry about this. This is very typical. Like, Dave's gone for a week. I'm going to be gone for a week in April. Like, it's just, how things are going to roll. So it's going to be, can I fly solo? You don't want me talking for 2 hours straight solo, guys. You don't want that. That's not. I used to do that
years ago. I don't think you want to do that no more.
I did that for 4 years. I did that for 4 hours for 4 years or 4.5 years in Omaha. I had commercial breaks at least, but you don't want me just talking straight. That would be very awkward. Sports Grid would be like, what is this show and why? But we'll have different things. We may next Friday. I don't know. We'll see what Emerson's doing, or we'll see from other people who may want to have guest hosts and stuff and whatnot. So don't worry about it. We have plenty of time. We'll be.
You can only get the guest host really to commit though for 30 minutes. Like it's really
he will go for 2 hours. He doesn't care. Just some people do care. You're right. Some people are more like,
Right.
You want me to talk for how long?
Yeah.
2 hours. 2 hours.
Yeah.
Straight. You guys do what now? So on that. All right. So Canada wins last night. First ever Four Nations face-off. 3-2 win, like you mentioned. From the anthems to the skill level, just overall an incredible night of hockey. I get the text like a half an hour before the game from my soon-to-be brother-in-law. And he's like my seats?
Yeah.
Like, are you serious? Like, what the hell is this? I was like, Josh, I was like, this is crazy. Like, that's where he was. The best seats in the house. My soon-to-be brother-in-law last night at that game.
I hope he really, really loves your sister. That's good.
It's from his stepmother is a really big wig at a company called Boston Scientific here in town. So that's their seats. So he asked for those seats. I guess like when the Four Nations got announced, Josh plays hockey. He's been hockey for a long time. He's a kid from New Hampshire and Maine. And he said to his mom, like, hey, I really want to go to this. And she was like, okay, let me secure your tickets. And we have tickets to every event at TD Garden. So like it was months in the making that he had those tickets. It just found up to be, secondary ticket prices. You could have sold those tickets for $10,000 a piece last night.
Yeah. Well, he's got a story now forever.
Yeah.
I'm
game.
Glad he went.
Sucks they lost.
It does, but again, there's no complaints like from the game. From like you said, the anthem that's a whole nother
She intentionally changed the lyrics to "Oh Canada." Do you have a problem with that?
What are we doing?
She changed the lyrics. Like, why'd you change
Why?
it? And then it was such a setup because we dropped the Boston Pops and an opera singer on them. And they had a woman who changed the anthem sing their song. I guess she was a Canadian. I guess people in Canada know who she was. I had never heard of her before. But we dropped the hammer on them when it came to the anthems.
I don't know. I had them on mute because I was on the air.
Okay.
I was so amped up.
The first couple of minutes,
ready.
I would say the first 10 seconds, the booing started. People were booing the Canadian national anthem. And then the good people in that building overrid them and started to sing it and got them to stop booing. So it was only booing in the beginning of the Canadian national anthem. And then the American anthem, the U.S. anthem was unbelievable. Like it was just Boston Pops came up and had this incredible rendition from a woman whose voice is just epic. Gorgeous, gorgeous voice. Isabel Leonard, someone I had bumped into somewhere on the internet somewhere. So I had seen her before. She's from New York. She's a New York singer. So we allowed a New York singer into Boston and do the national anthem. And you're right, Addison, you're the first person I thought of because the goal in the first 5 minutes, goal in the first 10, first period over, both teams to score, first period draw, overtime. It was for guys who have been betting these types of things like Addison. I was like, man, this game's going completely according to script.
Yeah. Yeah, it was good. Our friend of the show, from McAfee and Hammer Down. Gumpy's watching right now.
Hey.
So we talked yesterday before the game. We just talked this morning before this show. Canada's pretty fired up. That was that
bigger than them.
Went everything that they, I think, could have hoped happened the way it should. McDavid got the goal.
Yeah.
In overtime. He got to an area that he should have been covered and wasn't. Perfect shot. It was great. The real winners were hockey fans, but Canada has now won 4 of the last 5 best on best titles versus the USA. There they are. It was, I don't want to say it was inevitable because it wasn't. Bennington played great.
Great. That's an understatement.
All the questions
he was
that a lot of people had about him. And they came from both sides of the border. I mean, the Canadian people were also questioning it leading up to it. A lot of U.S. people.
He had 20 straight saves in that game. I mean, he was in overtime.
He saves in overtime with the splits and the glove save and this. I mean, come on.
Look,
great.
It came down to this. Team USA had our best goal scorer, our best homegrown natural goal scoring talent, have 2 opportunities dead to rights against Jordan Binnington. Couldn't get it done. Flip side, Connor McDavid. You could say McKinnon or McDavid is the best pure goal scorer for Canada, but I would say it's McDavid because of his speed. You can't give him that shot. You can't give him that much space. That's, I mean, what are we doing? That was I literally yelled at my TV set before I even shot it. I went, no, and boom. I mean, Hellbuck had no shot. No shot to stop that. That was just unbelievable. Great offense. And you heard it almost in Ray Ferrara's voice. He said it. He was like, it's getting really sloppy out here. He's like, I think both these coaches are getting concerned about just what's happening right now because it wasn't the 3 previous periods was played much differently than overtime. Way more wide open, way more loosey-goosey with their defense and their pickups and their assignments.
I think at that point, once you got to overtime, it was like, all right, somebody just go win it. And they were taking chances and stuff that they maybe weren't, because the third period was so tight. There was no ice. I mean, they were so evenly matched. It didn't matter what lines were out there. It was just one of those situations where you're like, okay, what do we do? How do we get the puck to the net? There was almost no rebound chances. And when there were, the goalies were answering every single one, making another save. I loved it. I mean, I as soon as it went to 6.5, I had already had under 5.5. I bet under 6.5 and just kept watching it and betting it. I wasn't betting a side, and I loved it. That's the kind of hockey game. I'm saying it doesn't matter who's playing it, but that product, sign me up.
But that product is because of who's playing in it.
Yeah.
We got the game because of the 2 countries that are facing off against each other. Like if that was Sweden versus Finland for the championship, that game wouldn't have had near the interest or near the intensity.
Well, maybe not near the interest, but it would have had the intensity. Hockey players care.
That's true.
I mean, those guys were playing hurt. Yeah. Those guys were, I mean, it was killing Matthew Tkachuk to not get out there.
Right. Brother Brady played well, scored a goal. He's never played in a playoff game. That was the biggest game of his life. His brothers won a cup, but Brady's never played in a playoff game for Ottawa. And he now goes and scores a huge goal, and he was super fired up afterwards. But, I mean, we get this again. We get this in Italy coming up here with the Olympics next year. And then after that, we get the World Cup of Hockey. So for Canada and the United States and just hockey in general, this is not going to be like a one and done. We're not waiting 4 years till we see this again. We're going to see this again very, very soon. So that I think is a huge, maybe not breaks the wrong word, but it's a very fortunate thing that we get this for the next 2 years. We're going to get this, I guess, 28 for the World Cup of Hockey, but we get it in 26 and we get it in 28, where this rivalry now, I think Team USA is going to look at this. Team USA is going to use this. They're going to try to figure out how to beat Canada. They're going to, they're close, okay, but they keep on in overtime, back-to-back. 2010, Sid Crosby, he scores. 2025. Same thing with Connor McDavid. So you got to find that answer to get that overtime goal. How do you do that? And how do you beat Canada to win this? Because it's still Canada's sport. Trudeau, you got it. It's yours. Relax. Okay. My God, dude. Like, it looks ridiculous. Like, no one's taking your country. Okay. No one's invading your country. And hockey can still be yours. That's fine. It's been 93 since you won the cup. Win the cup, guy. Okay. Come on. Like, calm down. But we get it in the Olympics, and that's going to be awesome.
The Olympics is going to be great. We saw it in the summer with the basketball. The Olympics were great because the players cared. If the players care, I heard it. I think PK said it.
Yeah.
The league sets it up.
It's everywhere.
But it's the coaches and the players and the culture that cares. They wanted to come play in this. They held each other accountable.
Would it happen in any other sport? Would we allow, think about the injuries, okay? Think about the players. There are, according to Emily Kaplan during the broadcast last night, she stated that there are numerous players who have played in the Four Nations who will go back to their teams in the NHL and not be able to play.
Yeah.
And they will be out for a significant period of time due to injuries sustained during the Four Nations event. An exhibition that has nothing to do with the team that's paying them. Would any other sport be okay with that? But hockey.
No. There's
and
not.
That's
I mean,
a problem.
that is a problem. Baseball did it before the season. So there's a lot of time to recover. Hockey, they're playing tomorrow. There is a full slate of games. Like Edmonton plays in Philly tomorrow afternoon. I don't know if Connor McDavid's going to play. I would think he would, but I mean, if he gets a day off, he should get a day off. The line on that thing is already Edmonton minus 190.
Wow.
That's assuming that they're all playing.
Mm-hmm.
Hockey's coming down the stretch. I mean, if you miss a 5 to 10 game stretch right now, these are all meaningful games. So will any other sport be able to do this mid-season? No. There's nothing. I don't think there is. I mean, the guys in the NBA have taken over protecting their body and their health over the team more often than not. This load management thing is real. They're not going to go do this in the middle of the season.
But I think the biggest reason why this is such a big deal, the biggest reason why people care, we're not the best at this. We're the best at track and field. We're the best at basketball. We're the best at baseball in some ways. You could argue that we're not the best, but we still produce some very, very good players, and our teams tend to win. We invented baseball, and we tend to believe that if we put our best, 18 guys on a baseball diamond, we're going to beat you. We're not the best. And this sport gives maximum effort, and it's super entertaining. It is super interesting to watch. And look, it's violent. These guys are giving up their bodies. Guys were diving for pucks. Mark Stone was diving last night to clear the puck out of his own end. I'm going, that guy is playing for a Stanley Cup. The Vegas Golden Knights have a chance to go potentially. And if he blows his knee out or he hits his elbow or he gets hurt, like the Golden Knights can't go anywhere without Mark Stone. They need Mark Stone. And there's Mark Stone giving up his body. You got guys who are literally on the ice blocking shots not for a Stanley Cup, for a first-year trophy that has no history at all.
The medal looked nice that they got. Kendall asked me, what do they get for this?
A medal. Congratulations.
They get this medal.
Yeah, great. I mean,
and she's like, is that like what, my sisters got after they won a tournament? I'm like, kind of.
Yes. Is that right?
I guess, but and Ross just said it in the chat. The country sweater means more than anything. It does to those guys. I mean, and it really does. And the fans feed off of that. The Olympics will be great, but it won't be here.
Right.
Like, are we going to get neutral crowd things happening in Italy?
No. No. I mean, people go over there, but not like Boston last night. Not like what we said. Not like the environment, the energy. No, not like Montreal and not like Boston. You're just not going to have the same type of environments. It's going to be great, but it's going to be more international.
We got it in Paris for the Olympics. That was and the rest of the world is catching up in basketball because the game was in doubt. I think it was more competitive is better. Effort is maximum. When they are trying like that, people want to watch it. So it blew up. I mean, it was great. And like, we'll have Kasey on when she gets here. And I can't wait to see, she was there like you, boots on the ground in Boston. I just don't know how, like Edmonton, Philly tomorrow. How? Vancouver plays here Saturday night. What are you going to do? Like go and be all hyped up and then you get like just a good game. Even if it's a great game, it's Vancouver and the Golden Knights. How do we sell that after that?
I mean, you sell it to the local fans, obviously. I think what the Four Nations, I think if you're going to look at this from a football perspective or look at it from a basketball or baseball perspective, it's the fact that the fans knew, and PK Subban said it, the fans knew that the players cared. There was no wondering about whether or not we were going to watch maximum effort. And PK, I thought, was the best thing he said was, I don't want 25 years of you. I want your best 10.
Yep.
Give me your best 10. Play hurt. I'm paying you insane amounts of money to play hurt, to play when maybe you shouldn't, because yes, it's going to cause you to have surgeries in the offseason. And yes, you're going to have problems. But every year after the NHL is over, after the Cup final, we hear about the laundry list of surgeries that the players need, what they were playing with. They had a dislocated elbow. They had a dislocated shoulder. They had a bad knee that needs arthroscopic, all the different surgeries. You hear about guys who are playing with broken hands all the time and guys who are playing with broken forearms. It's just part of hockey that you play when you're hurt. The culture is you play when you're hurt. Basketball's culture now is I'm going to play when I'm damn ready. Like if I'm angry, if I'm upset, screw the All-Star game. I'm LeBron James. I'm 40 years old. I've played a million of these. I don't need to play in the All-Star game. What's that? Hockey players wouldn't take that approach. They would say, hey, look, I'm supposed to play in the All-Star game. Can I play? Well, I'm a little banged up, but yeah, I can play. LeBron went and scored 40 last night, whatever hell he scored. He was fine. Like LeBron has no problems. He could have played. He just chose not to. So that is a disrespect to the fans and to the audience at large that you don't believe it's important to play. Hockey players have a different take on that.
This morning, both Wilbon and Stephen A. said they didn't go to the All-Star game this year. And Stephen A. said it out loud. Why should I go? If the players don't care, I don't care. And these are guys that like love basketball. Like, and their livelihood is about the league. And it's so they're saying a quiet part out loud. There wasn't a person there. The casual fan was all in on the game yesterday. Like everybody. I know even when I got Grandma and Pap over on the other side of the house waiting to watch the game and yelling after a goal was scored, watching it. Something about the, when it's for your country, it definitely is a different type thing. Look at this. Jack Hoff. I haven't watched hockey since Kane and Tay's days. Don't ask me why. I'm back, baby. You get people back in it. You show it. It's on TV. They covered it pretty good. The excitement was there. Sean McDonough, he's tremendous. He just brings it. Now, he's not everybody's cup of tea. That's fine.
Oh, I love Sean.
I don't have a complaint about him at all. I really enjoy when he does the game. It has that feeling like when we were kids.
Have
when
we had him yet
and it
on
was
the
big.
Has he come on the
games for forever?
Has he come on the show yet?
No.
We haven't. All right. I'll see. I'll see what I met Sean. We were on a flight together out of Boston. We were like either sitting next to each other. I think we were sitting a row apart or something, but we were in line with each other. We were watching the games and starting having a conversation. And like, I said something under my breath and he looked at me and he was just like, do you work in sports? And I was like, yeah. And we just started talking. I was like, I know who you are. I was like, I'm well aware of who you are. I'm from Boston. Oh, and so he gave me his phone number. It was about 4 or 5 years ago. And so I have his phone number. We should contact because I would love to get him on just after the fact, just to say, man, Like he was banged up during that tournament. He had the flu.
Right.
So he was really sick. So he was broadcasting sick himself. He was playing hurt as well, but he called that final and he's become, I don't know. I know hockey fans, to me, he's become the big name hockey announcer. Like when a big game happens, Sean McDonough is the one. Like when Joe Buck does a game, I know, like, it's old school. When Joe Buck used to call baseball, he's back calling it now. But when he used to call baseball, I knew that it was a big game. It's like, oh, Joe Buck and Tim McCarver are calling the game. It's a big game.
Yeah.
You hear Sean McDonough and you're like, oh, yes, CBW. You all went to Syracuse. All of you. Yes, I know. You all went to Syracuse. I can't get away from you ever. Not that I want to, CBW. We all love you.
It's fine.
But we can't go ahead and do this. Do we want to stay in Boston?
Yeah.
Want to stay here?
Oh,
Let's go down I-93 here a little bit and figure out. Let's see where Kasey is, because I'm not. She may be at Nesson. She may not be at Nesson. The one and only Kasey Hudson joining us here on the Boston University of the Book. How are you? Are you staying warm in this freezing temperatures?
I am not. I'm absolutely not. I'm still getting adjusted to the fact that I have to put on 43 pounds of clothes just to head downstairs. So all alone has.
Where did you choose to live? What part of town?
So I went from Tampa Bay.
Yep.
Picture it, Tampa to Jersey.
Right.
Jersey to now being in Boston, greater Boston.
Where in Boston did you pick?
Waltham and
Waltham. You'll get it right eventually. Waltham.
Waltham. Oh, I already butchered it twice. I got here and everybody's like, "Where do you live?" And I'm like, "Waltham." Tell me
Waltham.
More.
Not bad. It's a good place to live. It's not bad. It's a quick little shoot right down to Nesson, so that's not bad. About 20 minutes to get to the studio in Brighton. Not bad.
Hop and a skip. So yeah, no, Nesson's in Watertown. I'm on the water line. I'm on the city line of Waltham and Watertown. So I'm just
okay.
Waltham.
What's
going on?
It's good to see you. It's hockey time. Hockey got center stage. You know, since we saw you last, you were in Jersey. You decided to move up north, and you're with Nessa now. And then Old Man Winter has showed itself. And I've been thinking of you being all bundled up and cold and everything. Did you do that ski trip yet that you were talking about doing in February? Did you go and do that up there?
Not yet. It's moved to March, so I'll be skiing in the top of the second week of March.
So are you trying to just get like the full-on winter experience for a Florida kid? What the hell are you doing, Case?
I'm submerging myself into the experience. I have to. It's like everybody here, the norm is like you've got your, like I thought I was already committed because I have my own skates. I got my hockey skates. I got my figure skates. I got 2 pairs. I thought I was on top of it. But no, you have to have your own skis. You got to have goggles. You got to have all this winter stuff. The amount of long sleeves I've never owned in my life. Like I never realized. I give so much credit to anybody who lives beyond the border of Georgia because the preparation is insane. All the things that one needs. And my sister got me snow boots because I went slipping and sliding around with my dog the other day, taking her for a walk, thinking Doc Martens had enough traction. Nah.
Yeah, you need real snow boots. How did you feel 2 days ago when it was about 10 degrees with 45-mile-per-hour winds? How'd you handle that?
Assaulted. That was my first time being assaulted. Again, walking outside of my dog. And then, of course, since there's snow from just a couple days ago, and we had a surprise snowstorm on Saturday night. My best friends came up from Tampa for 4 Nations. So imagine the surprise that they had as well.
It wasn't that surprise, by the way, but okay.
Well, we knew it was a surprise for us. We're out at a bar. We
knew it was coming.
There's all these alleyways at the bar, and as soon as we stepped out of the bar, you see like 8 inches of snow, and we were like, what happened here? But we didn't drink that much at all. We just started. So yeah. All that awesome. Snow on Monday is being whipped around in that 50,000-mile-per-hour wind. So I was assaulted by snow. I realized how quickly snow turns into ice. And I have learned a lot. But
Kasey, you have to be like me. So I'm getting on a plane here in about 6 hours, and I'm going to Vegas, where this weekend it's going to be 81 degrees.
See, nobody invited me to Vegas, though. Nobody checked in.
Case, we're doing a live show.
I've heard from Sherapan 100 times and not one invite to Vegas.
We're doing a live show at the Resorts World in Vegas, March 20th and 21st. You're on the VIP list. You can come out, get whatever you want. It's first week of March Madness. If you can't make it there, we're going to be in Nashville the week before for the SEC basketball tournament. So you can squeeze down there. So we got some things happening. We've been busy. We know you've been busy. Hockey. Listen, what is your takeaway from this awesome week of it being in the spotlight, best on best? Canada wins, but I said hockey wins. Like that was exactly what we all know that love the game, that played the game, that still skate and around the game. What did you take away from it, Case?
I think we're always on the same page. Hockey won big time here. Like, yeah, there's always going to be the additive when you're representing your country. I mean, we all have pride representing our country, right? So that element, of course, is going to intensify things and bring different elements into all of it. But more importantly, you've got Canada that wants to prove that they created the sport of hockey and that one way or another, they're still going to have a foothold in it. And then you have the U.S. that's saying we're making this a bigger sport and we're bringing a bigger stage to the USA for hockey. And what I love about hockey winning and how you painted that picture, Dave, is the fact that I grew up with guys that loved hockey in Florida, but by 6th grade, they had to decide if they're going to go to boarding school. Their parents had to figure out if they can afford that boarding school. And then because you really can't afford that, especially if you don't just have one kid who's interested in hockey, then you have to pivot to something else and convince yourself you're equally as in love with it. So the fans who have just probably watched hockey during playoffs, brand new fans who have never paid attention to it, I think you got like a crash course of all great things hockey because of this Four Nations tournament, no matter who you were representing or who you were rooting for.
All right, Case, you guys are going to be covering this story because I think there's going to be fallout from this tournament. So the Bruins have lost Charlie McAvoy. We don't know how long Charlie McAvoy is going to be out. We saw in a weird setting last night where Brad Marchand is playing for Team Canada in his home building going up against the Americans. After kind of like this drunken euphoria wears off, do you think there could be fan bases or teams angry if their star player is going to be nursing an injury or hurt for the rest of the year?
Yeah, big time. We actually just talked about this on Nesson yesterday because it's like, well, there's so much positive to this Four Nations tournament because people didn't expect it to be this intense and this like highly competitive. It was replacing All-Star Week, which All-Star Week is more on the lighter side. And then last year's All-Star Week, everybody was kind of like, okay, some athletes might not be taking this as seriously anymore. So no one expected this to become the level of intensity that it was. With that being said, the planning around it, I was just saying how like the turnaround time is not favorable whatsoever. You've got guys that are got to be suited up and ready to go first thing tomorrow. Well, if you're on Team Canada, you celebrated until at least 5 a.m. last night. So there's that. Then you've got to deal with that while you're traveling back to your home hockey club. And now it's like back to focusing. And then you're in the most crucial part of your NHL season. This is the push for playoffs. You've got teams like the Bruins that are sitting outside of the wild card window, who every game is going to matter down the stretch here. And now you're without one of your key and star defensemen. So a lot of fans, I think, are going to be very frustrated by this because I don't think that the turnaround time was properly taken into consideration because not only just injuries, just travel. I was looking at Edmonton's schedule. They got to go all the way back to the other side of the coast to turn around and play in Philly here shortly. Yeah. And then you've got Toronto Maple Leafs like Matthews that are going to go back up to Toronto, hit a game, and then come back down into, the U.S. So even the cross-country travel is a lot. It takes a lot more time to commit to it.
What about the guys that didn't play? I was talking about it yesterday with Wetzel. They play tomorrow. There's a full schedule. But, Ovi didn't play. The Russian guys didn't play. Yeah. Is there an advantage to going forward? And we're all trying to figure out how do we, get over this hangover. And when you show up in the next morning and you're tired and your head's cloudy and you got to play, I think there's going to be an advantage for teams like the Caps who didn't have anybody on any one of these teams. Do you think that's going to be the case, or is it maybe being overplayed a little bit?
I'm here and there on it. I'll probably take it more by position. Guys like Ovechkin and stuff, I think that they'll be fine. Goaltenders, and that's maybe just because, you guys know, I covered the Lightning for a while, and we always got a chance to talk with, Andre Vasilevsky quite a bit. And Vasi used to say, like, reps are everything for him. Like, he likes having the consistent workload. It makes him more crisp. It makes him more sharp. So for some goaltenders, this could be a bit of a weak point because without having that consistent work, they just went back to practice a couple days ago. Yeah, but still, you don't have your key players there that you're working against in practice and stuff for some of these organizations. So I worry more about how it's going to manage with the goaltenders. As for the skaters and stuff, they're getting that break, that extra break to allow their body to heal from the unspoken things that we won't know about until June, whatever. So for the skaters, I think it's going to be fine. For some of the goalies, I'm a little concerned because I know the repetition is important for them.
Austin Matthews had a chance to win that game last night. Connor McDavid did not miss. What do you make of this? Because Austin Matthews, now it's 9 games in a row he hasn't scored. He hasn't lived up to all the billing and the hype as the best American-born natural goal scorer in hockey. What happened? Was that goaltending, or is it Austin Matthews just not getting it done again?
I think in all honesty, and I hate to put blame on anybody in this situation, there is going to be a level of responsibility on Matthews' shoulder because, like, when you miss your mark, then that's going to throw off the timing of your goaltender. And I mean, Hellebuck is extremely sharp. Look at Nathan McKinnon's first goal, for instance, like the range of the goal, the traffic in front of Hellebuck, he didn't even have a chance to react. So everything matters when it comes to this scoring. And when your guy loses his mark and you think potentially he had an opportunity to stick on top of him, it's going to delay your reaction. So yes, there's going to be some heat there, but we all have to remember Matthews has been in and out of the Toronto Maple Leafs lineup almost all season long. So him even being a key piece of Four Nations, I was already very curious about that. And I didn't love how they managed the injuries and the roster. I think that they should have had more of a taxi squad approach like back in COVID where you have a little bit more depth for call-up so that you're not in this confined situation of how can you maneuver and change things around. Coach Cooper immediately for Canada had to change the format of his forwards and his defensemen when Shea Theodore went out and wait a couple practices to readjust things. So there was a little confinement in that sense, but Matthews hasn't been healthy. So for all we know, he missed going against the fastest freaking skater in the NHL, leading in bursts, leading in speed, leading in puck handling, and all the other fancy things you can think about. I don't know what his injury is, but I know that you can't be equally as burst and equally as fast and reactive if you're not 100% healthy. So I think that was just kind of a miss on having him be such a key piece of the lineup when really they probably should have had an alternate plan.
The Canadian fans and people were very excited today and very happy that they won, but it worked out perfectly because McDavid got the goal. And now the natural inclination for fans and or people that may be making a wager or looking at something is that this is McDavid's moment. He got it. This is going to lead Edmonton back to the Cup finals, and they're finally going to bring the Cup back to Canada. Case, why are you shaking your head? You don't think that's a natural thing?
Look, I like drama, but I don't like, extreme drama. He had his moment. And I know a lot of these guys last night, this past week, it was their Olympics. I felt wholeheartedly terrible for the guys who felt like they got snubbed out of previous Olympic opportunities. There's been about a 10-year drought for a number of these players. Yes, he got that goal. Yes, it's poetic that it was McDavid, but there's just something about Edmonton that's still not clicking with me. We'll see if they make any moves at the trade deadline, but look at some of the teams that they've lost to this year. They have to take everything through the third period in order to find their success. And we saw that the Florida Panthers beat them because they were able to wear them out for 60 minutes of play. So if they're relying on those third period swings, there's a number of teams this year that pulled a page out of the Panthers book and found a way to compete in this upcoming season. And the forechecking aspect, you saw it in last night's game. Coach Cooper even said it on the sideline, we're getting worked by their forecheck. There's so many teams that have some of the top forecheckers on their roster, and that has nothing to do with Edmonton. And not to say that they're not skilled, but I'm not screaming championship for them quite yet.
Covering the Lightning, is there a rivalry between Tampa Bay and Florida? Miami. Was it weird for you to look at that and all the love coming down? I know Matthew Tkachuk got hurt last night; he couldn't play. But is there an odd situation with the Tkachuk brothers? They really became the thing over this whole tournament. If you didn't know about them, you know about them now. Does that make Lightning fans kind of queasy that the Tkachuk brothers now are the thing?
Matt, I need help in this situation for a lot of reasons. Okay. And then laugh out loud to the person who said McDavid can't play goalie. Yes, I agree. First of all, I've had a crucial identity situation because not only do I come from covering the Lightning heavily, Lightning and Bruins they're rivals to an extent. Buying into the Boston culture, I'm living here. I love Boston. I'm fully committed. There is a hatred for the Kachuk brothers.
Oh, deep.
Massachusetts.
Deep.
I mean, a steaming hatred.
Yep.
So the conversation has been like stretched me and split me down the middle because there's some Massachusetts people that are like, it's USA, that's it.
Yeah.
This is the one moment I'll say anything nice or decent about a Kachuk, where other people are like, doesn't matter if he's wearing a USA jersey. Massachusetts does not screw with the Kachuk brothers. And I was just like, I don't know what to do with this. I mean, they're doing nice things. From another level though, their story, their dad, I got a chance to talk with Jeremy Roenick the other day, like for the story of it, Brady took the collegiate route for a year, went to BU. So there's a lot of pride in college hockey here, which I love. Matt, you warned me about it. I'm addicted.
Good.
So just from that standpoint, there is ways to root for the Kachuk brothers in U.S., Massachusetts, and well as like Florida as a whole. I know that it was just like, it was hard for a lot of people, especially because like for the Lightning fans and Panther fans, the heat did not come down because all of the Lightning players besides Gensel is on Team Canada.
Right.
And then you got Brandon Hagel, the face of the Lightning now, shooting shots in press conferences to Matthew Tkachuk, who is the face of the Florida Panthers. So it just found another way to take everything to the next level. So for one moment, I was like, I'm really glad I'm in Boston, but my loyalty has been challenged at every turn here. I'm here for hockey. I had to bow out.
All right. Last one for me, because I know you're busy, but I am going to Tampa next week. I'm flying down on Wednesday. I'm going to be in your old neighborhood and area, and hopefully I'm going to get over to see the Red Sox and spring training game there and in Tampa with the Yankees and the Pirates, hopefully. But is there anywhere that I should go, Case, that is kind of off the beaten path that like a local like yourself would know about and say, Dave, you should go, and because the daughters are coming down, they're going to be playing spring training games themselves.
We're going to be with you.
Yeah, we're going to have. So you're going to have to give me a little bit of a rundown. But anywhere where you want to say, back in the old stomping grounds, it's going to be like 80 degrees every day, and in March, it's going to be perfect, Case.
Right.
You should come down.
Tell me about it. Well, we'll see if life allows me to go home anytime soon. Riverwalk. You're going to want to just take a stroll with your girls down Riverwalk because there's a number of restaurants that are overlooking University of Tampa and all these things. But you're talking about a gorgeous stroll. And then they typically always have things going on in the parks around there. Sometimes there's live music and stages set up. So especially March, we know that that's like our spring break crowd. Yeah. They always have something going on. So Riverwalk, put that down. For food, if there's a restaurant that has to physically kick me and my friends out because the food is good and the vibe is really nice, it's Olivia. It's I call it off the beaten path because it's not downtown proper.
Perfect.
Midtown proper. It's like in it's off of Hyde Park is what we call it.
Okay.
Go to Olivia. It's a little secluded, Italian, but it's got a great menu. I mean,
it's a winner already. That's
pretty good with Olivia. So Riverwalk and Olivia. For a nice family day, if it's nice and sunny out, everybody goes here when they visit Tampa. But the Sail in downtown on Harbor Island, it's sitting right on the dock, overlooking the water where all the stuff is going on. So you're on the Hillsborough River, and that's a nice spot. Not expensive. You can chill out there for hours. They even extended some of the seating and stuff. So the Sail, Olivia, and Riverwalk. Actually, from the Sail, you can walk the Riverwalk.
Oh, there you go.
Nice. So you can just make that one whole thing.
We'll get you out of here on this. You're going to be watching the Bruins obviously very closely for the next couple of months. The Bruins are 2 points or 1 point out of a playoff spot at the moment, but their road record is atrocious. They can't win on the road. They're good at TD Garden, but they're not good on the road. They obviously have McAvoy, who's going to be out for a while. Did the Bruins make the playoffs?
Oh, it's okay. So it's really hard to say no because there's been times where I've been like, the Bruins do not look good and somehow they sneak in. The hard part is with McAvoy being out. They already were making changes to their back end with McAvoy jumping in and out of the lineup because he missed 7 games leading up to January 28th, and they did okay. But Wotherspoon, I don't know what his role is. Callahan sounds like he got the tap up again. So they've got to figure that out in front of Swayman so Swayman can get more consistent. My biggest issue, though, is like they don't have any bottom 6 scoring really. And like as you start getting deeper in here, and of course people are going to start locking in on Pasternak. We've seen some kind of passing connection issues here and there with him and Geeky. So Geeky's been tremendous this season, but again, the consistency just hasn't been there. But I mean, if you're looking at goaltending and who has the strongest goaltender for like the 3 spots ahead of them, the Red Wings are doing well, but the Bruins can be surprising in the sense of having the better goaltender and having their defense kind of come in a bit stronger. Just stop letting up 3 goals in the third period. And before you know it, I know it's dumb to be like, just stop doing that. But like, that's really where it hurts them. They have these strong defensive performances for the most part for about 40 some odd minutes of play. And then before you know it, their opponent's right back in the game. But how they played the Rangers when they got JT Miller and they had this whole jump, of course, I take it back to the Rangers. We've seen really good moments for this team. It's just, Dave's like, why?
You just can't let the Rangers go. You've just been against the Rangers. I was going to ask you about the Penguins. I don't think the Penguins are going to make the playoffs. So who's your team in the East? If you want to pick a team in the East, I know it's not the Rangers. Sounds like you're down on the Bruins even making the playoffs or making an impact. Who's going to win the East right now, in your opinion?
Honestly, I'd be scared to think that the Lightning can sneak through, and that's not even bias. They're going to make a move at the trade deadline. This has been a conversation for months now. They already have – they're another team that has to get some bottom 6 scoring involved, but their fourth line is pretty solid when it comes to playing, like helping with defense. They've got a great defense. Ryan McDonough being back, everybody just got settled back in. Vasilevsky is a second-half playoff goaltender for sure. So if they get another score in the mix, like it's going to be dangerous. Their second line, like Brendan Hagel, Anthony Cirelli, and whoever else they mix in there, they're dangerous. And then again, top 4 checkers. They've got 2 lines that can forecheck their life away, and that's where they can come in and kind of edge out some of these teams.
66 points for the Lightning. They have a plus 44 goal differential. The Bruins have 60 points. They have a negative 25 goal differential.
Big
to give
difference.
you an idea as to what those teams are looking like right now. And yeah, I agree. If Swayman can go back to remembering that he's Swayman, we might actually have a chance to see the Bruins make some noise. But I'm with you right now. They need more offense and they need more goaltending, frankly. They need to play defensively much better in late in game situations as well. Kasey, stay warm. It's going to be a tough couple of weeks here in New England. But thank you for coming on. We look forward to talking to you down the line, hopefully around playoff time.
I'm trying. Well, I missed you guys, and I'm so excited to hop back on. So don't be
Thanks
strange.
for joining us. Tell people where they can find you right now.
Oh, yes.
What you're doing, please give your Twitter handle and everything else, please.
Hanging out over at Nesson now, which I'm so excited. I love my team over at Nesson, New England Sports Network. So you can catch me there on their podcasts and stuff. We got a lot of cool things coming up for Bruins coverage also. So at the Sports Case, that's KASE, where you can follow me on all platforms, and then over at Nesson, especially Nesson's YouTube and Nesson 360.
Very, very cool. Kasey, good stuff. Thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Thanks, Case.
Guys, bye.
That is Kasey Hudson joining us here on the Boston Ring versus the Book. Good to get her on the program from Nesson here.
Freezing.
There's no debate. There's absolutely no debate. She's freezing. I'm freezing. So
right. And
I'm freezing.
She's a Florida kid. And I mean, the first, winter started in Jersey and then went further north and got Arctic. I mean, it's Arctic what you guys are dealing with this week.
It's unbelievable.
Arctic.
It's the coldest in the last 5 years. This has been the worst winter that they've had in New England. So she picked the wrong time to move to the. I mean, it's legitimate. There's legitimately a foot and a half of snow outside. Like it looks like it did. Right. Amanda and I have talked about it. It looks like it did when we grew up. Yeah. This is what we used to see every year. Right. February used to be the month that you hated because you suffered through December because you had Christmas. You had January, you had New Year's, and it was like, all right, I'm getting kind of tired of winter. And by February, it was like, I'm sick of all of this. Like, I'm tired of being cold. I'm tired of the car being frozen in the morning. I'm tired of the snow. This sucks. And then March comes and the thaw and it turns to mud and you hated mud. And then you got April with Easter. And that was like the turning point was Easter when things started to warm up just a little bit.
Right.
She's got 6 weeks left of this, of dealing with this. So like, it's no bueno, like no bueno. Okay. So a couple things. Texas and Nebraska have both made announcements that they are canceling their spring football game. This means nothing in New England. It means nothing in non-football states. But to diehard football states, when I tell you that the canceling of the Texas spring game and the Nebraska spring game, if this continues in these markets that live and die college football, Dave, there's not just a football fallout. There's an economic fallout from this. This is supposed to be in Nebraska. They put 60,000 people. In Texas, they do 80,000 people. All those businesses, all the parking, all the concessions. This is supposed to be another game, another big economic driver. And these teams are saying, we're not going to let you look at our guys. You can't come and scout our players and then poach them. Because last year, Nebraska lost 6 players after their spring game, and they're not doing it anymore.
Penn State used to get 50 to 60,000 for their spring game too. I went the first year that I was there because I was like, wow, they're playing football. It's an excuse to go to the stadium. I never went back while I was in school. But people use it as an excuse to come up to go to the game.
Oh, yeah, of course.
So I understand it. Listen, you got to handle this. I got somebody at the door that I have to talk to. I'll be right back.
Okay. So when I lived in Texas, or when I lived in Nebraska more, I had to cover this. A spring game was content. While the NFL draft would drive the marketplace and the conversation in major markets, in Omaha, where I was, that's what drove the conversation. We talked about the spring game. I hated every second of it. I had no desire to talk about it. I didn't want to be a part of it, but I had to be a part of it. I had to go there and cover it like a real game. You had to go and cover the pregame. You had to cover the postgame. You had to watch the thing from the press box. You had to give your talent evaluation of the second string running back who was getting his first look with the ones. You'd have the offensive line breakdown. Yes, absolutely right. The Big Ten, SEC, and ACC networks need content. Yep. And then what to replay all summer. You're absolutely right. It's one of those things where you're like, okay, we can watch football. Like when you put on NFL Network right now, what are they playing? NFL Network is playing like the best Super Bowls and like crazy moments of Hall of Fame talent who got it. Like they're just playing replays of old games because there's nothing else to put on. Same thing happened with the Big Ten. Same thing happened. Yes, ESPN would run highlights. Right. ESPN News would run spring game highlights. And it's not everyone that's going to do this. It's going to be a lot of different teams are saying, we're not going to be doing this. And Nebraska has decided that they're not going to allow people to watch this. And I think there's going to be programs. Heck, Whitrock. I mean, what is Lincoln? It's a good point. What is Talk Radio in Lincoln or Omaha going to talk about for the next 2 months? But you guys aren't immune to this in Iowa City. You guys do it too. I mean, I was in Des Moines. You guys do it too. It's a big deal. The Iowa State and Iowa spring games always would be talked about. And you have a quarterback battle. Like these are things that fans who are in love with these college teams, they want to talk football 365. In the SEC, it's the same thing. They want to talk about football and they want to talk about the new kids coming in, the transfers, the freshmen. You know, they watch this game as if it's a real game. And it's not. It's not a real game. It's a fake game. So it going away, again, I'm a kid from New England who isn't part of the culture of college football the same way that kids who grew up watching college football. But there you go, Whitrock. It's all you have, 100%. It's what gets you through the spring. It's that countdown because when the spring game happens and you get that game, now you get to spring, summer's around the corner, then the fall. So in the SEC, they've got baseball. In Big Ten, baseball has been better recently, but that's the thing people say. You say to me like, hey, we watch SEC baseball because we need something to get us to the spring game. And then once we get to the spring game, now we can watch the College World Series. That can then get us to go forward into the summertime where then spring camp or summer camp opens up in late July into August. And we're good with that. It's part of the rhythm of a college town. To rip this out by the root, I can't wait to see how teams, how fans, and how markets respond to this. We good?
Yeah. Yeah, the garage door broke. So on top of everything, we got a garage door broken. I got the tire light on in the car. I was like, not today, not this morning, because usually in the morning we don't start till later.
Right.
So, yeah, he's here to fix it. So we got that.
Okay.
He's gonna get that taken care of. I'm gonna get the car tires
Right.
fixed. We're good. Nobody's gonna fix this.
What?
This
Spring game
This is the beginning
of the end.
Why would you do one?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, you could do one. I think you would do one, but I think people are going to do it and not put it on TV and not let scouts come in and watch it. So I think you're going to see scrimmages close to the public scrimmages. I think coaches will still put pads on and still have the guys go play. Just we're not doing it for the public. We're not doing it for the fans.
Is this bad for the kids?
I don't think it's bad for the kids. No, I think it's bad for the markets. I think it's bad for the schools and it's bad for the markets to not have it. I don't think it's bad for the kids. Kids got. I mean, that's what. When Nebraska decided to cancel it, what they said was, we are not going to allow our players to have a showcase for other coaches to come in and offer more money to pull them out of our program, which it's hard to argue against that, given the rules. The calendar's all messed up.
But it sets up like the fall. The spring game,
Yeah.
You discovered somebody. There was opportunities presented. Right. Like, wow, they're going head to head, and this kid can really cover. Or, wow, this kid really put in the work in the offseason, in the spring here and showed out at the game, which led to the fall. All of that is going to stop.
Yeah.
So, I mean, for the kids, I guess it's just less reps. That as a coach, I'm thinking, I like that spring game. I could set things up and get kids in a mindset that, look, man, you showed out in the spring. You're at the top of the depth chart. They're coming after you.
Right.
And listen, opportunity presents itself at all places. If you did that, that meant now you could transfer. So now your options may be limited because you don't have a spring game. So I don't know if it's a good thing or bad.
And some kids, to your point, some kids play better when the lights are on. Some kids play better in game type setting versus practice. Right. Some kids don't give the same effort or have the same type of moxie when they're at practice versus when there's, 40,000, 50,000, 60,000 people watching them play. So yeah, I think that could hurt kids, to your point, that could hurt kids. But I'll be really curious to see how widespread this becomes, because as of right now, it's only a couple of schools. But if this turns to be like everyone and the spring game goes away, whoa, that's a big change to the calendar on college campuses. Big time college football.
Oh, yeah.
Camps, that is. All right. You're wearing the Yankee gear for this. We're going to put up a slide that's got two different things. The first is the statement from Hal Steinbrenner. Alterations to the facial hair policy for the Yankees. In recent weeks, I've spoken to a large number of former and current Yankees, spanning several eras, to elicit their perspectives on our long-standing facial hair and grooming policy. And I appreciate their earned and varied feedback. Essentially saying the Yankees are going to allow you guys to have a groomed facial hair now to play for the Yankees. This comes from an article that came out years ago where Lou Piniella told George Steinbrenner, Jesus Christ had long hair and a beard. Why can't we have beards and long hair? The Yankee owner showed him a small pond beyond the outfield fence during spring training. This happened. So you see that pond? Steinbrenner asked. Walk across that pond and you can have a beard and long hair.
I love that.
That's from spring training when George Steinbrenner and Lou Piniella was playing baseball for the Yankees.
Oh, is that great? That's a good line. Yeah, listen, I don't have to shave. I can wear the Yankee stuff and pull it off. Could you imagine?
This has always been dumb, but I'll say this. It has always been like a fun thing to watch former Red Sox players, like when Johnny Damon had to go to the Yankees and shave everything because he had a long flowing hair and he had a big old beard. And, that's where people said he was Jesus with the Red Sox and Judas with the Yankees. And he had to go ahead and shave everything.
Yeah.
When he just shaved everything to look completely like he did.
That's pretty good. Listen, welcome to 2025, I guess. Keep it clean, make sure it's groomed. So there'll be no shaggy, big beards and stuff like that.
No Phillies.
Every show's talking about it. Every single show is talking about it. Now, whether that's because it's February 21st and there's not that
true,
much else
but it's also
about.
the Yankees calling card. It's been the Yankee calling card for a very long time. And some people who are the old school Yankee fans, I was listening to some WFAN this morning. There are some people who don't like this. The old school Yankee fans are like, this is another sign that the Yankees have lost their way. That the Yankees, everything, this used to be, it's not about the look. It's about the discipline that it's needed to go and abide by the rule. This is a rule. It should be a rule. It's always been a rule. And like the Army's the same way. The Army's got a rule too. You got to be clean shaven.
Right.
End of a beard. People were like, hey, when I was in the Army, there was no talking back. There was no like, hey, wait a minute. Come with the times. It's like, yeah, we're the Army. No. Shave your face. Period. I don't know. I think it's funny because the Red Sox are totally opposite because the Red Sox have always had, that was the cowboy up thing. They loved the fact that they were all scruffy and all looked a bunch of like, looking vagabonds.
Listen, you let baseball players, like, they won't shave the whole season, and they'll sweat through those beards and all that other stuff. I don't think anybody should really be too upset about it. If you're Yankee fans and you're upset about this, I'd be more upset about, like, is the bullpen okay?
Right.
Like, don't worry about the beards. I don't know.
I hear beards, I think gambling.
Like,
I've been in the space too long now. I hear beards. What beards? I was trying to outlaw them. I don't like them.
Right? Yeah. Well, it's ironic. The Yankees can have beards now, but Iowa can't.
Iowa can't.
Right? There you go. So
right.
So you go to jail for bearding in Iowa. You can bat third in the lineup now behind Judge for the Yankees. That's good.
That's good. I like that.
Yeah, Devin Williams is happy. He went from the Brewers and he had a beard, and they've been taking pictures of him. He had to shave it off.
Yeah. Everyone was like, ooh, wait a minute. You can't have that. He's like, that's really 5 o'clock shadow. Like, what's this? And then he did have to kind of shave it off already. But during the year, I mean, it's been one of the stupidest rules in sports. I'm not going to lie. Like it's so over controlling. It's so typical Yankees, but there are some people who don't like it because they think it's always been this way. And it's been the Yankees policy to have this. And this is another example of Hal Steinbrenner not doing what George wanted, that Hal is not his dad. And so people don't like Aaron Boone, got extended yesterday. That's Hal's fault. People don't like Hal Steinbrenner, and now he's saying they can have facial hair. Like it's, another knock.
C-Deck, Cody Decker, he tweeted 2025 World Series champs, Yankees, in response to this.
Right. They changed everything.
Like they're letting them grow beards now. So now it's
Look
on.
out. Look out.
And I've already seen pictures, whether it was AI or not, put a beard on Judge.
Oh.
I would say it was a nice tight beard. It looked pretty good. I haven't seen one on Stanton yet, but I'm sure, maybe Garrett Cole seems like a guy who they're going to have to tell if he lets it go. They're going to have to tell him to clean it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
So now, in addition to everything else that, we'll focus on in baseball season about the Yankees, we'll talk about the guys that have beards. Yeah.
It will be funny if there's a group of guys who have beards who hit better than a group of guys who don't. That will be funny. If there's some correlation, be like, well, it must be the beard. It's the magic of the beard. Because baseball players are, like you mentioned, are really superstitious.
Oh,
so some guys who are, growing beards might be like, nah, man, I couldn't hit with a beard. I had to take it off, or vice versa. Being like, hey, it's the beard. We're going to grow it out. We're going to keep it for the whole year.
Right.
So that superstitious angle will be fun to see how they play it out and what they feel about it going forward. So, yeah, if you hit 420, as long as you hit 420, nobody will care. True. Yes.
That's absolutely true. Yeah.
Nobody will care.
I mean, beards, Yorkie's in there. He just said that would never fly in hockey. Beards are talked about in the playoffs
all the time. A playoff beard is
beard is a thing.
A huge thing.
Yorkie,
coaches do it.
You can't grow a beard. You would not allow it. If I come back and play for Yorkie, I could grow a beard.
Oh, there you go.
He doesn't care, but he can't grow a beard.
NBA was back last night. The Boston Celtics it was almost like Joe Mazzulla did this just to piss off all the people who are pissed off about the NBA. They shot 54 threes last night. The Boston Celtics, they shot 89 shots for the whole game, and 54 of them were from behind the 3-point line.
They're just, sometimes I feel like they are really just messing around. Like they're just like, it's like showing up at the Y.
Right.
Just roll up, get off the bus, shoot the threes. We'll get to April. We'll be fine. And
they're averaging 48.4 threes per game. The record for the NBA, the most attempts, were the Rockets in 2018, 2019. They shot 45.4 threes per game.
So they're 3 threes ahead
averaging
of that pace.
Averaging 3 threes. Yes. Gonna blow it out of the water. Set the record for the most threes taken in a season per game.
I forgot to say it on our show yesterday, and I did say it yesterday on Sports Grid with Wetzel. The day after the All-Star break for the basketball was the easiest day to book because it's so random. But like we did pump up the totals. And yesterday, he said it right there. Unders after the All-Star break continue to rule. It was a beauty seeing it unravel. There was Memphis and Indiana yesterday was 250. There was another game, it was 248. So like I know personally, we used to do it. If we were thinking 240, we made it 244. Just to see if we could get the bets under, because the natural thing is, well, nobody's going to play defense the day after the break.
Right. No one wants to.
Which, again, might roll into tonight. I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But this is real. I mean, we're 50 games into the season. They're averaging 48.4 threes a game.
Attempts.
They ain't worried about nothing.
No. They're just jacking. And another example, another chance to go ahead and embarrass Embiid. They won the game by 20 points.
Oh, man, shut it down.
And then after the game, he said his knee is a problem. He said, I can't play. I can't play the way I want to play.
Shut it down.
You want him done for the year.
Shut it down. Like it's a problem. The whole thing is a problem. Like that hope of what you're going to get in the play-in, you're going to get in the first round. You have no shot of beating these teams. Shut it down. Get healthy. Stop playing. To come back and play and then hurt more. I mean, I feel like there's only so many times left that he can do this, right?
Yep.
I don't know. It was fun while it lasted, Philly.
They paid him a lot of money, Dave. They gave him a big contract, and he's looking like the worst contract in basketball.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, he can't play.
You have to physically be able to perform the job. Process is over.
Or been
over. It is, Joel. The song is done. I haven't played the song in a while. The Sixers are toast. Like it's baseball season in Philly. That's it.
Not a horrible idea though, being baseball season, but yeah, it's done. We have another example of a sports book deciding to pay out a bet they don't need to pay out.
Yeah.
Victor Wembanyama has blood clots and he is done for the rest of the season. Dangerous blood clots, because if he flew with those things, it could have gone to his heart and killed him. So that's no joke. Like he's dealing with deep vein thrombosis, which is really scary for a guy his size. So he's out. So Fanatics says fair is fair. With Wemby out for the season, we are paying out all Defensive Player of the Year bets as a win and refunding all parlay wagers courtesy of Fair Play. There's two parts to this that I want to ask about. The first is obviously the paying out of a losing bet as a winner when it was minus 2,500. This could not have been that expensive for FanDuel to do this. Sorry, for Fanatics to do this, correct?
I would think not.
If I had a parlay in which I had Wemby as a Defensive Player of the Year, why don't you just void that part of the parlay and keep the parlay going? Why are you refunding me all of my money? Because my parlay might cash with the other three legs, but because I had a Wembanyama thing, now you're voiding my parlay. The first thing I thought was, that looks nice, but if I had a Wembanyama parlay at 2,500 that I just kind of chucked in there because it helped to kind of bounce the odds up a little bit for me to make it a better, but I like the other two.
With the Celtics to win the championship.
Right.
Or an exacta with the Celtics over the Thunder that pays, was 10-1, and you threw that in there to make it pay.
So you're refunding me.
11
I
to
don't
1
want
or
you to
12 to
refund
1.
me. I want it to
No.
be typical parlay rules. Well, if I get a push on a parlay, well, don't pay me out. That's fine. But don't void my parlay. My parlay might be live. So I saw that and I was like, that doesn't seem fair.
It's not.
So
two things. One, you take the risk when you make the bet. He gets hurt, he gets hurt.
Yeah.
That's part of the line. Like,
right.
That's why the line is what it is, because now the other guys to win that are 35-1 and 40-1. We're right behind them. So now that market is completely blown up. If you wanted to hedge, you had an opportunity to do so. But you made those bets knowing he could get hurt. So now you set a precedent that, all right, defensive player of the year, refund that. What do you refund next? There's no rules as to when you do it.
Nope.
So you're training people that, well, as soon as somebody gets hurt, let's ask for a refund. Let's, go to social media. Let's
Pavlov dog it. Yes. Right.
You have to learn how to lose. Like, sometimes you lose when you make a bet. Sometimes something happens. Your guy gets hurt. Your team happens.
It's celebrated in the space. What I can't get is the people that celebrate it. And I understand eating our vegetables suck. Okay. No one likes that, right? No one likes the fact you have to do something because it's going to be better for you in the long run. I think everyone likes eating Brussels sprouts, but you got to eat them sometimes because it makes you healthier when you do so. When the people in the space are celebrating this, and I've seen it numerous times, awesome move by Fanatics. What a move by Fanatics. This is such a great move for them to go ahead and pay back gamblers. And I'm thinking to myself, like, I understand the idea of giving people back money is often, seen as a nice thing to do or the quote right thing to do. But in the long term, we aren't helping the business by doing this. We're hurting it because, again, like you have said in this show numerous times, we've never done it in Nevada for a reason. We never did this. If this was a good business practice, they would have done it in Nevada years ago. This is not a good business practice because it makes people go, well, when are you going to refund me? Because if I have a rookie of the year and that rookie of the year gets hurt in the, second month of the season or something, pay me. Like, come on, I want my money back. Well, no, that was a unique situation. Why? You get to randomly choose when and how you refund people? It doesn't. Your policy should be to refund it always or refund it never. Not pick and choose.
Or say there's a stipulation, like for the Super Bowl, there's so many stipulations on all the prop bets, right? So ahead of time, before the game is played, that if this happens, then it's a refund. Like they snuck in the dead heat rules without really telling you until you found out about it.
At the end, yeah.
If you say you make this bet and it's a season award, all NBA season award bets are subject to refunds if there's an injury. Okay, so now we know as the book, as the consumer, this could be possible, but there's no specific. So for the defensive player of the year, we refund it. But if a guy gets hurt, that's the third or fourth choice in the offensive rookie of the year, does he get refunded?
Right.
So and if it's only basketball, why isn't it football? Or wow, the baseball awards, there's all those awards. Why don't you guys do it in football or in baseball? You do it in basketball. Well, because it's a lesser market. It only I think all the goodwill that it creates, and bettors love it. And I understand why people in the industry are saying, yes, it's a good thing because they get their money back. But canceling the parlays you should just take that leg off and leave everybody's parlays alone.
Adjust the odds if you want. But
yeah.
What are we doing? Like,
so
refunding all of it is like, wait, you're saving yourself money. I almost wonder if that was the idea. Like they were able to get rid of the parlays because they had some major liability on their books and said, hey, by the way, if you kind of like refund all of this and then say, hey, we're giving you the parlays back, it kind of, people will talk about the funding, the refunds. They won't talk about the parlays being voided. Like, I don't know. It's
Well,
weird.
he asked a good question too there in the chat. Do you think they would have still voided it if he was out for less than a full season, but still long enough to miss lengthy time? No, they only refunded it because they said he's out for the season.
He's done, right? Not
Which
coming back.
would be ridiculous if he finds a way to come back and play the last 2 weeks of the season because they're making a push and he miraculously gets treatment. So now what do you do? There's way more headaches in doing the refund than in just saying, you know what?
Sorry.
We'll float you a bonus bet for participating. Like, but we're not canceling your bet. Here's an extra 10 in your account, whatever.
Jimmy Jack, the reason why, and I get your point, but kiosk betting for the books, not to be on the side of the book here on this, but like kiosk betting is not, okay, it's more convenient for the player, but the liability is monster for the sports book in Las Vegas when they have kiosks. The guys who stuff kiosks overnight and go and hunt lines, Nevada's not like other markets. Like there are people looking to take your head off every 2 seconds with a bad number. So the reason why the kiosks aren't like the East Coast books, because they aren't afraid the same way that Nevada is afraid of. If you have a kiosk overnight with a live line, they could get attacked. So I get the point where they don't want to do that.
Well,
faceless, nameless beards come in.
Right. And, they will take away jobs. And I think Nevada's trying to protect both the book experience, the host building of said book, and all the employees. And it's new technology. I mean, kiosks are spreading everywhere. And, DraftKings would love to have all kiosks. They don't, I mean, I went down to Arizona to the book. It's a beautiful little restaurant right at TPC, a lot of seating. There's 2 windows. There's 15, 20 kiosks on each side of it. There's 40 kiosks in there. All you got to do is make sure they're plugged in the paperworks, to print the tickets.
Yep.
So it's way cost effective. And don't worry. I mean, they're popping up. They're in a lot of sports books in Nevada. They just have to be policed a lot differently than someone coming to the counter. If you don't have the manpower to police it, then you can't put a lot of the kiosks in places. But I got a kiosk at the grocery store that I deposit the money in. It doesn't print the tickets, but I deposit the money in the kiosk right by my house so I can load the account. Then I have to go to the book to withdraw. The kiosks don't withdraw the money. They deposit only. So that's not always the answer either.
Our friends at the American Gaming Association have a couple of things they want to bring up. One, American sports betting up 34% in 2024.
It's great.
148 billion in handle.
Yeah.
That's a billion. Yeah. They are also taking shots at the gray markets, the sweeps. They're deciding to come out swinging at them publicly. So major states have not legalized sports betting. We're at 148 billion. If you guys remember back in the day, Sarah Slane from the AGA once said that a fully mature sports betting market in America would be 6 billion. The whole country would be 6 billion. On my show on the radio, she said that. 148 without Texas and without California. We're at 148 billion. Forget 6 billion. We're at 148 billion, up 24%. But Bill Miller, speaking State of the Union type of address yesterday, said, then there are the newer categories of unregulated actors that appear to bypass or circumvent state gaming, from currency exchanges to digital asset platforms. That would be your Kalshis of the world. These entrants deploy legal acrobatics, what a word, to avoid calling themselves betting or gambling, only then to offer other products that most universally would agree are gambling, yet without the safeguards and the regulatory constraints that build consumer trust, promote responsibility, and support state budgets. Will the AGA be successful here in highlighting and putting a spotlight on the sweepstakes markets, on the exchanges?
Glad that Bill even addressed it, because we've had Bill on the show multiple times, and I've talked to Bill myself on the side at different conferences at the Super Bowl. Bill has people that he has to answer to too.
Yep.
So I get it.
Yep.
The conversation needs to be had because they are doing, what do you call it? Acrobatics.
Yep.
To say they're not gambling when they 100% are gambling. It's one of those things.
He called it.
What is it?
Legal acrobatics.
Legal acrobatics. Yeah. That's not Mary Lou Retton, that type of stuff, or Livy Dunn, but it's gymnastics nonetheless because it's the elephant in the room. They're doing real business, and they are I don't want to say a threat, they're competition, but they're not playing by the same rules.
They took $347 million, Kalshi reported last night on the Four Nations. That's not nothing.
That's what I mean.
That's not nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, hundreds of millions of dollars they took on that game last night, reportedly.
Yeah. So they're coming, and they keep coming. There's no what they did with the Super Bowl, and we had Alex Kane on, who again played by the rules, and did his thing, and then these guys showed up and did their thing. They continue to do it. The sweeps are a whole nother story because they're not based here. None of them are. And I think the AGA has to. I don't know what the AGA power is, though, P-Roll. Like, they're not really. Can they force anything? They can keep saying it. I mean, do cease and desist letters work?
No,
they don't.
No, I mean, what works is what they've done to Bovada. They just shut you off in the state. Like, it's a state by state thing. Like, you can't make this. The problem is, look, when we legalized, or when we made it, we authorized the legalization of sports gambling state by state, is that we didn't have enough people to say in 5 years or 10 years or 15 years, we haven't fully codified what the word gambling represents. We haven't put this into the law federally, what gambling is. And that's what's opened up the gray market for the sweeps and for the social casinos and the social sports books, and for anyone who wants to try to do, like Bill Miller's saying, legal acrobatics to try to jump your way through to say, well, you define gambling as this. We define our product as this. So we are not under your definition of what gambling actually is. We've got to define that at some point. Somebody has to define that.
Oh, good luck.
Right.
They're gonna have to pull the dictionary out and read the definition and say, this is it. So everybody can kind of agree on it. And then they're going to find a way to do the gymnastics to say they're not it. That's fair. Okay. Well, that's what that is, but that's not us because we do
billable hours.
Right.
Billable hours.
And the lawyers are all going to win. Yeah. Everybody's going to win in that regard.
A lot
Speaking
of hours.
Of winning, CBW just posted this. Did you see this?
I did not.
Auerbach, the Big Ten, announced today that its 2025 Football Media Days will be held at the Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino in Las Vegas from July 22nd to July 24th.
So here's the question. Will you?
Why?
Well, who cares? You get to go watch your team. You get to go watch your coach. You're not psyched that Penn State's coming. You get to go and see James Franklin hold court.
It makes no sense, but I'm going.
Oh, it's brilliant.
That's great.
I think it makes total sense. Why does it make sense? The Big Ten's got West Coast teams. This is the tip of the cap.
Oh, that's right.
You got West Coast teams,
UCLA,
Dave.
USC,
You got
Washington, Oregon.
It makes it fair to them.
We're all in the Big Ten now. I forgot about that.
That's why it makes total sense.
That's wonderful.
It's a tip of the cap to them to say, hey, we'll come out to you. Right?
And July 22nd and 24th, it's 8,000 degrees here.
But
That's great. So we'll be inside at the
Yes.
media days and all this other stuff.
I'm going to predict this. We're going to be live for those 3 days.
Really?
We'll be live from Big Ten Football Media Days. Yeah. Those 3 days we'll be live.
Okay.
I've done it. I did it in Chicago for 4 years.
Okay.
At Big Ten Football Media Days. It's awesome. There's a whole radio row. There's a whole media section of all people all over the Big Ten who come to cover it. And going to Vegas will be even more people coming to town.
Right.
To be a part of it, to come to that. It's good. You get great interviews. You get great players. They bring the players to you. They bring the coaches to you. You can get audio. You can get interviews with all the media people calling games. It's an awesome event. I want to do the SEC, but I forget why we didn't do the SEC. There was some reason why we didn't do the SEC back then. Oh my God, I can't. I can't do this.
Why?
My sister gets married. I guess we could do the first day. My sister's wedding is the 25th.
Oh, really?
Son of a gun.
Jeez.
I was like, what do I got in July going on? I got nothing going. Oh, son of a gun. But we can go for a couple days. I can go for the 22nd and 23rd.
Right.
First 2 days. Hopefully Penn State's the first 2 days.
Right. That's going to be a little bit hard to manage, right? I mean, with all these teams now. I mean, they used to be a little bit easier when there were 10 and
fair.
Whatever, right? Like now it's 18 teams.
You can move the wedding.
She can move the wedding. Not now she can't.
My daughter is in the wedding.
Yeah.
The
That'd be a little bit rough.
That would be great. They can move the wedding. That's good.
Yeah.
Speaking of the Big Ten, Michigan State tonight. Big game. First place on the line. Michigan at home, lane 3.
Why does that look so easy
To do?
Just bet Michigan.
Okay, fair. I have.
Why is it only 3?
I think it's Izzo, and they're red hot. I mean, they and also Michigan sucks against the number. Michigan has won 6 games in a row, but they've covered once in the last 6 games. They can't cover. But this is a rivalry game. This is May's chance to really get people excited. Beat Izzo in late February at home. Get a commanding lead in the Big Ten.
Ask the hoop heads that are here before we do a roll call. This is Sparty. No. Jackoff State. Okay. Go Bluefish. Nikki Ciramello. Go Blue. I give them a poll real quick to vote on. I want to see where this ends up. Just win or lose the game. You don't need to even put the spread.
Okay.
You just put it right in there. Michigan State. Who do you got? Sparty or Michigan?
It's going to be.
I think we get it. I think we get it right down the middle.
I would agree.
Yeah.
I think the 3-point shooting for Michigan State's their problem. They can't shoot a 3 to save their life.
It's moving right now. I don't know, and the guys at the risk rooms and the books we're at are watching us. No, it's 3.5.
Oh,
literally
nice.
Moving right now. Steam move. Circa 3.5.
Yeah, it was KenPom's got it. KenPom's 2. That's right.
Westgate 3.5.
They can't shoot the 3. They can't shoot the 3.
Yeah,
like
so
this is Michigan State on the road, having to quiet down the environment, rocking Friday night. Every kid in there is going to be, legally drunk. Like his kids are going to be absolutely off their ass. Huge game, nationally televised. Awesome atmosphere.
Michigan.
Give me Michigan. And then Marquette's on the road at Villanova, laying 1.5.
What's Villanova's deal?
They play everybody hard.
They do, but they don't finish.
Correct.
I don't know. This again. Is it square? Is it dumb? Is it what? I mean, I don't know. Marquette seems so easy. Just play Marquette.
I would agree. All right. We've hit that time.
Hit it.
It is time for you guys to tell us where you are. It is time to have a conversation with the audience in a thing that we call Roll Call Friday. We will do the majority of this during bonus time, just so you guys know. So, like, if you're with us and you're like, "Whoa, we're at the end of this," we had Kasey on, so we'll do the majority of Roll Call Friday coming up here on in bonus time. But
3 digits, wherever you're watching the show from, wherever you're listening to the show from, on the way in or on the way out, hit the like button. The likes are going up every single day on the YouTube channel. We got people in different countries, different time zones, all different places. Europe, Canada, Mexico, Croatia. I haven't seen Vinko yet, but he never disappoints. We may have messed Vinko up with the early start.
True.
So it might be, it might be the middle of the night for him. But before we get to Roll Call Friday, again, the 3-digit area code right now, we will be in, what is the 3-digit area code in Nashville or Franklin, Kentucky? I don't know what it is.
They're both different. Hold on.
Nashville will be there.
Nashville's area code is 615.
So we'll be in the 615, but we'll be in the Mint Wednesday, March 12th for a live show. Come by, say hi, hang out, because we're going to do the show.
270.
In the book.
270 is
270 is Franklin, Kentucky.
Yes.
Okay. And then we'll be back for the West Coast guys. Home game. So we got
702.
a home and home series or whatever you want to call it. We'll be there, but we'll be in the 702 at Resorts World on the 21st and 22nd. That's a Thursday, Friday, back-to-back days of shows. You know, that's spring break week for us and the kids, by the way. That's the kids are off that week, I believe.
Which week? Kentucky week or Vegas
No,
week?
the following week, the Vegas week.
Oh, that's fine.
So
Okay.
that's fine. Yeah.
We can I can
Manage that. We'll be
manage
all right.
that. Kentucky week would have been a little bit of a uh-oh.
Well, at this point, after this weekend, and your daughter and my daughter getting together and planning stuff, those two might be able to just hang out while we just go do the shows anyway. I have no idea what's happening with those two right now.
I'm down. Let's go.
Yeah. All right. So here we go. Started off. This is what goes on for those of you on the replay on Sports Grid or SiriusXM. You got to go to the YouTube channel to finish it. But when we start with Sonic the Wrench, he's in 602 Phoenix. Not looking forward to 90-degree temperatures next week. Listen, it is what it is. You live in one of the hottest places in the country.
Yeah.
You deal with it. Fish,
Yes.
deal with this. 313 Livonia, 32 degrees and kind of sunny. Man, do I miss Vegas.
Coming
Miss you
soon.
too, Fish, but
It's coming out
you're here.
soon.
Look at Jimmy Jack with 4 Ks. 585 Rochester, New York with snow and rain and all that stuff. CBW 315 Oswego, New York, 15 degrees. Received an additional inch last night.
Sometimes it's not a bad thing.
More inches, the better. We fight for that inch. Way to keep showing up, CBW. Jimmy Football, 416 Toronto. Great week of shows, fellas. Hat tip to you, Jimmy. You always show up. Appreciate the kind words. Keep telling people about the show. Prazzano, Eric Prazzano, 516 Long Island, New York. Go Mets. JC from KC, 216 Cleveland, Ohio,
Everywhere's
26
cold.
degrees and a snow
Everywhere's cold.
emoji. Vinny Konwinski, 260 Fort Wayne, sunny and 27, thawing out. Vinny, I got your hats in hand. Going to go see the kid. Hopefully get your hats done.
do
Vinny
you
sent me
thaw it?
some hats. We're going to get them done.
When it's 27, how do you thaw out? That's still 27. Still
You can
cold.
find stuff to do. Just saying.
Hmm.
Get in the ring a little bit.
Inside.
Title
Yeah,
shots.
inside.
ND9, go Irish. 502 Louisville, Kentucky.
He's going to come to the live show. We're going to see him at the live show.
CND. Yeah, that's great. Mikey Awesome, another wrench, 757 ODU, Brigadeville, Virginia.
Hmm.
I heart the brigade. Hashtag BVB Brigade. LFGO. Every single week. Right here. Joseph Myers. Now, formerly of San Antonio, Texas. He's now in 913 Leavenworth, Kansas. It's 17 there, feeling like 9 and trying not to turn into an ice cube. We got to get you one of them beanies. He got hats, but he got to get this boy a beanie to keep that dome warm. Johnny Perry and Dawkins. Johnny P. Good to see you here, brother. He's in the 732 Asbury Park, 29-mile-an-hour wind gusts. Feels like 24. Johnny P., good to see you, brother. Devils are playing pretty good. He's a Devils guy. I like it.
Jersey.
Nikki Ciaramella, associate producer of the show, 520 Tucson, Arizona, 68 degrees and sunny. Hope everyone has a hell of a weekend and cashes all their bets. Appreciate you guys and the brigade. Nikki, appreciate you too, brother. D-Weeze, he found that under last night with me on Sports Grid. He was tweeting about it. Excellent work from D-Weeze, 704. Ishville, a bright 37 degrees. Unders are still a sweat. Unders are always a sweat. Don't forget it. But they get there. Chef B, 401 Rhode Island. Don't be a bum. Hit the thumb. Got some hats and hat ideas.
Oh,
Here's to a great weekend, brigade. Cheers. Hugs to you, Mrs. Chef B, and that little baby girl, Francisco Ochoa. My man, 951 Hemet, California. Temperature starting to go back up. 72 degrees.
looking
We'll
forward
see
to
in a
it.
few weeks in Vegas, baby.
Looking forward to it.
Ron Sean. What'd you say?
Looking forward to it.
Absolutely.
Warmth. Let's go. Turn the heat on.
Eron Sean left off a number. He's in a 703. I only
Yes.
know that because he's always here and he
Right.
shows up. But he's in Centerville, Virginia. He left at 70. That's like the speed limit on them rural roads.
75, but yeah.
75?
Oh, yeah.
Going up?
Open it up. Let's
Gosh. JPC to 4, 313, still cold. Not tonight. Not in Michigan.
go. Last one before we go to bonus time.
Deuce Daily, 603, Wyndham, New Hampshire. It's going to be in the 40s at the end of the weekend. Can't wait for the heat wave.
Brutal. Guys, if you're live, don't move. We have more with Roll Call Friday and more for BVB. If you're watching on the replay, guys, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Go to the YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book to see the rest of the show and the rest of Roll Call Friday. If not, we'll see you guys back on Monday. For the rest of you, bonus time now. Continuing.
Jim Montgomery. Hi, Monty. 215 Philly Burbs. 36, which feels like summer right now. Still flying high over that Super Bowl win. Go Birds.
Good
Boy,
stuff.
the Eagles fans are having a hell
They
of a
should.
week. Still, it's
Should.
great. PB 941 Venice, Florida, 66 degrees sunny. Happy old-fashioned Friday. Northeastern playing the Bo Sox today.
Northeastern. Yep. Baseball. First. It's
really?
always the first game. They play a college team. The first spring training game.
They fly them down for that?
They're already down there. They're down there for their
okay.
spring training too, like your daughters. Same
Right.
thing.
That's awesome. Wow.
Yeah.
So go Pats, go Tar Heels. Yeah, we'll be in touch, PB. Maybe
there you go.
in-person visit for PB next week. Roger Long, 765, Clinton, Indiana. Going to be in the 50s for the next week.
Take it.
Enjoy that.
Take it.
Probably just a taste, and then it'll get cold again one more
Right.
time. Joe TFP, the Fat Panda, 303, Denver, Colorado, shoveling a foot of snow as we speak.
Sorry, dude.
Bend at the knees. Use your knees. Please, Joe. Kevin Roper, 601, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, 45 and sunny. Looking forward to a great college baseball weekend.
Opens
It's that
up.
time of year, baby.
That time of
It's
year.
that time of year. Ian Lights Out, 718, Brooklyn, 35, and face burning winds swirling. Go Heels. No, not this year with the basketball. Get used to being a football school next. There's Yorkie Morris, 702, Enterprise, Nevada. Dave, new hockey season starts in April. Get your skates and hockey stick ready. It's starting. That's it. All right. You're going to have to talk to the wife, Yorkie. I'll get back on the ice in April.
She's gonna
be pissed. We might not have to tell her. We might have to just pretend like I'm going somewhere at night once a week and just come home with my hockey equipment and hide it somewhere.
Good luck with that.
Gramke, Steve Gramke, that crazy-eyed dog, 513 Cincinnati, finally hit 32 degrees, warmer weather on the way. Have a great weekend. All you do the same, Gramke. Thank you for being here. Tyrone Boyd, my brother, I like it. He got his own square on the bingo card on Tuesday.
Good.
This bingo card is a thing. Get in the Discord. You'll see the bingo card. It's Ask
every Tuesday.
TheBVBShow.com is the website. The email address, we got a couple emails this week for askthebvb@gmail.com. Thank all of you. Tyrone, you got your own square, 202. Tyrone, guys, trademark March Gladness and sell it to sports bars. Just a thought. Tyrone, I love you. We'll put that one in the back burner right now. I don't know how we're going to sell that. You come up with a white paper, you want to sell it, I'll drive you to and from and help you sell whatever you got.
There you go.
Marcella Unda, 504, New Orleans. A cold 45. Is that cold?
That's cold for New Orleans. Yeah, 45 is cold for New Orleans.
It snowed there, though, a couple weeks ago.
I know. It's been a very odd winter. It's been an odd winter for sure.
There's Ross Randall, 978.
He's got stuff for us. Ross, sorry, man. He DM'd me.
Bro,
he's got stuff. I'm
running
like crazy.
It's
tough.
Been nuts.
Brooks is getting on a plane to fly to Florida. I'm flying to Vegas. Amanda's been a mess. She's getting left behind. Both of her guys are getting on planes in 5 hours.
And she's staying home with the dog.
Yeah.
There you go. Amesbury, Mass. Getting cutting boards glued up, bottle openers finished, and the rods relined and ready for the start of the fishing season on the balmy 26 and sunny day. Hashtag BVB to the moon. Love you.
Appreciate you,
sir. Appreciate you. Andy Caston, my man, 702 Vegas. As always, give Ash a little quick hug for me. Jack Hoff. 651 Lakeville, Minnesota. Long week working outside. Oh, what? Minus 15, finally over. 40 this weekend, well deserved.
Yeah, negative 15. Yes, you've earned it.
Damn right. Lena Scrimmage, 705, Aurelia, Ontario, -9 degrees Celsius, which translates to 16 degrees Fahrenheit. LFG, I will never say anything bad about Jordan Binnington ever again.
Yeah, no one in Canada should.
You can't.
Can't.
He won a cup and he won the Four Nations.
Yeah.
Stop talking about they can't make the big
Stop
stage.
doing a TD Garden. I think I'd never play in TD Garden again or sign him to play for the Bruins. One of the two.
Oh, good move.
Ridiculous.
Yeah.
He loves that building. It's dumb.
Success. Big success for him. Kevin Whitrock, 319, Iowa City, 16 and sunny. I will be in Kentucky for the live show. Finalizing the booking tonight. Can't wait for the road show. My man Whitrock. He was in Chicago.
He was.
Now he's going to be in Kentucky.
That's tremendous.
Fantastic. A 2-time Brigade road show appearance. Awesome. Santana, sunny, 72 degrees, 15-mile-an-hour winds in border town, 928 Yuma, Arizona, and the Dodgers are still -450 to win the NL West. Thank you for being here. Gio DeWatt, he's hanging out in 949 Long Beach, watching the show at brunch, enjoying perfect weather, probably had a morning pickleball game. Shout out to Mrs. Gio, turning the big 5-0. Hey, give her a shout out. Tell her she's on the show. Congratulations on turning 50. It only gets better. Keep up the good work. Crop_Duster 007 757 Newport News, Virginia. Got the 3 hats, Dave. Love the Avs theme so much. I can't stop wearing it. That hat did come out clean. That was really nice.
Did it? Nice.
Love y'all. It really did. The kid, Corbin came up with a really good combo mix number, and it was great. Addison, the wrench. My goodness. Addison sending me texts last night while I was watching the game. I knew he was in Indiana watching the game. He got all the gifts. The first 5, the first 10, the first period over, and a draw. 8-1-2, B-Town, Indiana. All 7 games in the Four Nations tournament had a gift and a first period over. Santa bless. Ain't going to be that good the rest of the way.
Right? How about that?
That was awesome. J. Dow Betts, 410 St. Michael's, Maryland, but currently in the air over Alabama, headed to Houston for the Rockets game tonight. Wow. J. Dow's rolling.
Should we be dropping it?
Who they playing?
Yeah. The T-Wolves, Minnesota.
Oh, all right.
So 2 more.
Enjoy the game. Chevy P, 613, Ottawa, Canada. Good to have you here, sir. Thank you for being here.
And one more.
King of Car Seats, 651, Farmington, Minnesota. Safe travels, boys. Thank you. We'll be in town. Matt will be back. We'll be here Monday, Tuesday, and then we'll figure the rest out for next week. Thank you guys, as always, for being here. You make Roll Call Friday what it is. There is no Roll Call Friday without all of you checking in from all over the world.
Amen. Better to book. All right, I am jumping on what you talked about. Michigan -3. I think they're at home. I don't like the 3-point shooting from Michigan State. I think it's a big concern for them. I like the Wolverines to win and cover tonight. -3.
What's the poll say? How'd the poll work out?
63%
on Michigan.
Yep,
it's fine. They've been right. People have had good weeks. This is fine.
You put your thumb on the scale too. They heard you say how much. You normally don't emphatically say that. What's wrong with the line?
It's a bet. Yeah, that's a bet.
I'm not going to worry. I'm taking Marquette money line against Nova. I'm not going to play around with the number. Just go there and win. It's Nova plays teams tough. It could be a 1-point win, could be a 2-point win. I don't want to play around with the spread, so it was cheap. It was only -127. Marquette money line. Better to book it.
I think this is a bet. Okay. I don't know why it looks so easy. This one looks like you could. I don't want to say parlays because parlays are bad, but
yes,
you could put Michigan with Marquette. M&M parlay.
Don't mind that. And then finally in the NBA, the Warriors. The books haven't adjusted yet with Jimmy Butler being on the Warriors. Sacramento is awful. They don't have De'Aaron Fox. This number should be higher than 2. Golden State -2.
Everybody playing?
As far as I know.
Okay, so if everybody's playing, this is a bet too.
Yeah.
Wow, all 3, all bets.
Look out. Favorite thing about today is what?
Another successful week of shows. Hockey was
tremendous.
Hockey was tremendous. Next week we turn the calendar and it's like officially like there's spring training games on today. I posted something today on my social with Lisa Fernandez pitching a changeup and a softball thing.
Well,
spring will be here, boys and girls, before you know it. And it's coming. So all well and good. My favorite thing about today is that baseball season, softball season, it's all here. I'll be in Florida soaking it all up next week. Enjoy your weekend. Great basketball games, road shows. Come out, hang out. It's going to be awesome. M&M parlay today.
It's not a bad idea. It's not my favorite thing heading to an airport and leaving Amanda, but I am very much excited to get out of the snow and get back to Vegas and get back to the warmth. So I am looking forward to that. But in Vegas, my favorite thing about today, and this is often, we don't give properties, shout outs all that often, but the Palms made a pretty big announcement. And this is the place that Dave and I actually met each other, was at the Palms, that they are now going to 24/7. They're getting rid of 6-5 blackjack. Everything is 3-2 blackjack throughout the entire property, 24/7, 3-2 blackjack at the Palms.
Okay.
If you play blackjack at the Palms, you know how rare that is to see an entire property go 3-2, not just like one hand, like one card or two deck type of table games. The entire property is doing that. And they have $5 crap tables, $5 max or minimums for all their craps 24/7 at the Palms. So we often complain about Vegas being overpriced, and we complain about Vegas not doing it right, and everything is overpriced, and go back to the way Vegas used to be. At least one property apparently is hearing from the public and saying, what can we do to get people to come back and be a part of this? Because the Palm has changed hands a bunch of times. It shut down after COVID. It took a while to reopen. One of the tribes bought it. Let's go. Like, let's see more of Vegas do this, where they start to roll things back to the way that things used to be. Let's stop nickeling, diming. Let's stop having $20 bottles of water. Let's hopefully that some properties, and you guys can shop around, do it right.
Listen, $10 bet blackjack 6-5 pays 12. 3-2 pays 15. It's a big difference.
If you're playing over the course of a night, that can really add up.
Yeah, I mean, if that's just a $10 unit. I mean, play a $100 unit, you get paid for a blackjack 120 versus 150. So, I mean, it's a big deal. That's good. Listen, we can only hope that in our lifetime, it all comes back a little bit. So,
bravo to them. Keep doing it. I love it with the Palms. It's obviously a property that is important to my career, your career. It's important to the show's history. So I want to say props to the Palms for doing that. Maybe one day we'll go back and do a BVB show from that glassed in thing, and it'll be a whole rollback, and this is your life type of thing. Who the hell knows? He is Dave. I am Matt. We are back on Monday. Have a phenomenal weekend. Great college basketball games coming up tomorrow. There's going to be an awesome weekend of sports to watch. Enjoy it. We'll recap it all on Monday on a Monday's BVB.